when we have talked to you in the past about habits and the best way to ensure if you want to break a habit that you are going to be able to be consistent with this is to always replace it. The things we've chosen here are sort of a replacement for that behavior. You can still sit down to a drink of some kind. We are not simply, saying let's get rid of the alcohol. We're saying like here are some alternatives. They replace that habit in a similar way that you're used to, so it doesn't feel so like, what do I do with my hands?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Thick Thighs Save Lives podcast. I'm Kelsey.
Hi, Kelsey. I'm Rachel. Welcome back, besties. Friends, we have a very fun episode for you today. As promised, the long-awaited, just kidding, I just said it like a week ago. I was like,
I love when you
do this.
Hey, friends, because it makes me feel like, like a kindergarten teacher.
Oh, no.
Come, friends, gather on the carpet. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah. Well, there's that guy, Mr. Oh my God, you must know him on TikTok.
You must.
He's like a preschool teacher.
No.
Oh my God, he's so good. He's so good. And he says that a lot too. Because he does like adult content, except he does it as if he was speaking to his preschool class. So like he's trying to explain complex topics, like using like preschool. Oh, hey, Harley.
I didn't realize. I put it down a little bit. There she was.
Oh my gosh, she's so curled up. How cozy.
That's her spot. It's a weird thing because like in the morning, so she really likes a routine. So she'll like if she loses me for a second in the morning, she's like waiting in the hallway for us to come down here. Like, come on, we're gonna go to work now. Okay.
This is the new office. It's still work in progress, but it's looking really good. And of course, the first thing to go in there was Harley's bed.
Yeah. So
And there
if you
she
guys
is.
have been keeping up with the progress on The Office, this is another step closer. And I told you we were going to have the desk set up and I was going to have a real chair, which I love this chair because I can put my feet Indian style in it. I don't know why that's so important to me, but it really is. Like, I don't want them on the ground.
Are we still saying that?
Oh, sorry. Crisscross applesauce.
There you go. Look how many preschool references we have today.
A lot of preschool references.
Friends.
I think that's the only crisscross.
Let's sit crisscross applesauce. I know when we were growing up that was the term, but things have changed. We're moving on. We're getting better.
We're getting better. Yeah. That was just the first way that popped into my mind.
Plus, if it rhymes,
yeah,
it's way superior to anything that doesn't rhyme.
Well, that will keep it in your mind for everyone, right?
Yeah, that's how
I live on rhymes. That's how I remembered my states.
So it's looking really good. I'm really proud of your progress. I'm so glad you have a comfortable chair. It was so comfortable, in fact, that when Mom went to set it up for you, she went immediately home and bought herself one.
Yeah, well, she first threatened me with stealing it. So her text to me, all the moms are going to be like, yeah, I'm going to send this text eventually. She said, I feel that because I birthed you,
yeah,
I need this chair and I'm going to switch it out with my old one. And, moms, there's no argument to that.
What could you have said?
Like, when somebody says, like, because I gave you life, you're like, well,
whatever comes after that. Like, good enough for me.
Yeah, like, there's really no rebuttal to, like, I created your life. You're like, well, what do you want? My house? Like,
the chair? My everlasting love?
Like, I don't know. But yeah, that's how that went down. She got herself one, but I really love it. It's funny because we're talking about all of these things, but we are going to review some other company, some other alternatives for you guys to alcohol. And I did want to like talk about that for a little bit, like one little snippet. I didn't tell you this beforehand. I never do.
That's fine. I'm good. I'm just sitting back
I'm
and
good. I'm
I'm
good.
good.
I'm chilling.
My chair is not nearly as comfortable as yours, but I'll sit through it. Go
I know,
ahead.
but
Tell me.
you go for style.
Yeah,
And like that's why Rachel aesthetically looks so nice and I look like a trash can.
that's not true, but
No, but
yes,
everything you do is very aesthetic.
I am so stupid that I will pick a better looking chair that is not as comfortable.
You're not
And
stupid.
well,
You know what you
that's
value.
stupid.
Yeah.
That's stupidity.
I definitely don't do that. I will sacrifice like the look of something for it being very comfortable for me. I have a lot of sensory things that I'm like constantly looking for dopamine hits or like constantly looking for comfort things that I like the other purchase is like this big chair and it's like the most comfortable chair. Like
Yeah, so far for your office, you've bought only the most comfortable,
yeah.
like cozy. I'm here for it.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I like.
I'm here
But
for it.
I wanted to chat about alcohol for a second. And I'm not sitting on any high horse and being like, we're just not drinking alcohol. Like, I'm not sitting on any high horse for this. But I did want to just bring up that there's so many studies on the consumption of alcohol and how it affects, you know, your mind and obviously your body and, how the clarity of your thinking. And I think that for a lot of us, we just kind of pass over that because like alcohol consumption is so mainstream and it's just like, are you having a drink? It's like this whole thing where like if you're weirder if you're not having a drink than if you are. And I just wanted to kind of like throw that language out there a little bit that as we go into some of these holiday seasons or as we hear about some of our friends or family members that might have goals to consume less alcohol, ways that you can be supportive around that is really not making it weird when you notice that someone isn't drinking. And you're a really, whether it's you or someone else, you're a really important part of that because someone else's choices are not affecting you. Or if it's you and you've decided, like, I'm going to consume less alcohol and I'm worried about going to some events or some functions because it's going to be kind of called out or I'm going to feel weird about it. Stand on all 10, right? Like stand on if that's what you've decided is helpful for you in your life, then I just want to empower you to stand behind that if you've made that decision and don't let these like kind of social norms that are really backwards inhibit you from the goals that you set.
Ooh, good opening.
Yeah,
It's an odd one
it
because
is.
it's people get weird about it.
They do. Like if you don't like mayonnaise or you're not eating mayonnaise,
No,
like
I know.
like nobody
Nobody
is
has
like
shit to say.
yeah, like, "Oh, you don't eat mayonnaise?" Like, no one cares if you don't eat mayonnaise, but if you're not having a drink, it's like, "Why aren't you having a drink?" No one says, like, "Why aren't you having mayonnaise?"
Well, it's the I think the oddest thing is how people, like, sort of get personally offended that you're not
Mm,
drinking sometimes.
mhm,
Like, it's like, "What don't you like me enough?" Or what, like, "I don't like, I don't what, you don't wanna have fun?"
yeah,
And it's so weird to me because once I started researching these products for this episode, obviously, as I was fed immediately into an algorithm of, like, alternatives for alcohol, like, you know, this was a very different algorithm than the typical like mom wino algorithm that I'm usually in.
mhm,
Because like a lot of things were said that I was head scratching because it was like, hey, I saw one ad for an alcohol alternative company and they were like, hey, wanna all get together and poison ourselves slowly and call that fun? And I was like, "Oh god, wow. I never really never thought of it like that." Or like, just showing like your brain, the scientific studies that show your brain actually shrinks
Yes.
with alcohol consumption, and just like all these things that I don't know, it's the last legal drug kind of. Like it's like it's the most socially accepted, but it is something that um maybe we've just gotten used to having this be a part of everyday life, that we're not truly stepping back and thinking about like, is this helping me live my best life? And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'm not saying like everybody needs to be sober. What I'm saying is that it's typically not given a thought like other mind altering um substances are. But, you know, yeah, like you said, like don't be weird about it if people aren't drinking. Don't be like judgy about it, and
Yeah.
and definitely treat it the same as mayonnaise.
The same as mayonnaise. If you take anything from this podcast, treat alcohol like mayonnaise. No, but I think that's such a honestly, like, I've thought about this a bit when it comes to alcohol, and just like there's been times where like if I'm like working the next day, like I'm definitely not drinking, and like I know that in my past life, um, that would have been something I really wouldn't consider, because like I didn't really need to be as sharp at my jobs, and I didn't really need to think as clearly. But I know that I'm not going through any like mundane tasks where I don't need to be firing on all cylinders. Like I might have a microphone with thousands of people listening. Like
I
I
mean,
want to be, I want to have some clarity, and that amount of fog that it comes when you're feeling like hungover, when you've been drinking too much, like it just like I'm a little bit slower to the intake. I don't really have as many like intelligent things to say, and there's so much science behind it. It's not just me. But I think a lot of the times when we are frustrated with some of our performance in some areas, we don't look at the things that we're doing on a daily basis that is hurting our performance in those areas, and really taking control of what we might be able to do to offset it. And when it comes to like depression and anxiety, that's right along the same lines, because it's not it's not up for debate if alcohol is a contributor to heightened anxiety and depressive episodes. It's not up for debate. This isn't my opinion. This is definitely proven, and not for everyone doesn't receive that in the same way, or have as many concerns around like how high your anxiety is to begin with, or there's definitely some variables there for where it works for you in your life. And like I said, I'm not on any high horse, like do your thing. But when it comes to making some of those decisions, if you're thinking about like, well, I do suffer with a lot of anxiety, or I'm feeling particularly anxious right now or around these times of year, or I'm feeling, I suffer with seasonal depression, and I'm going into a season where that's going to be a big issue for me. So maybe around those times, being proactive around your alcohol consumption could help you offset some of those symptoms that you're looking to avoid.
it's so true. I've heard a lot of people talk about, you know, loosely being able to find a loose link between out their alcohol consumption and their nutrition
Mm.
because of sort of having, their nightly wind down kind of with whatever their alcohol of choice is. And then the next day, feeling less energetic, probably because of a poor night's sleep, and reaching for more sugary snacks as a result. And like, it's weird. You can connect it to a lot of things in your life where you're like, maybe I'm underperforming in this area. And maybe if I like trace it all the way back, there is something to be said about, just your everyday habits, your general habits that are in place, and you stop noticing them.
Mm, mhm.
And that is where like a lot of people's nightly glass of wine falls into like a habit and a routine. And that is why if you're doing a dry January, that's really popular, obviously. If you're just looking to like say, I've been noticing like I've been drinking a glass of wine 4 nights a week. I'd really like to go down to two or whatever. When we have talked to you in the past about habits and the best way to ensure, if you want to break a habit, that you are going to be able to be consistent with this, is to always replace it. So
Mhm.
the reason why I like this episode a lot is because the things we've chosen here are sort of a replacement for that behavior. You can still sit down to a drink of some kind and like have it in a fancy glass if you want,
Mhm.
and like have the experience of like, I'm going to sit down on the couch, I'm going to watch a show, I'm going to have this drink. And so that's one of my favorite things about this episode is we are not simply, saying let's get rid of the alcohol. We're saying like, here are some alternatives. We ranked them, we tried them, and they all are great because they replace that habit in a similar way that you're used to. So it doesn't feel so like, what do I do with my hands?
Yes. That's exactly what I was talking about when we've experimented with all of the products that we're about to name. So I was drinking one when I went to my friend's house, and he was like, "What is that?" He recognized the can right away because good marketing. This one's for Moment. He recognized the can right away, but he said that one of his friends who gave up drinking, he sees him with those all the time because as a replacement, and he has something he's in his hand, and he's always like, he has the ability to replace that with a similar behavior, as instead of having a beer.
No, it's true. Like literally, what do I do with my hands?
Hmm.
Sometimes you need something to hold. So, all right. So here's what we did. First of all, we want to say we are not sponsored or backed or anything by any of these companies.
No, that's
These
why we really get to
were,
put them head to head.
yeah, we're putting them head to head with no backstory of like this one is, sponsoring us or anything like that. So you can trust that these are our actual opinions. Also, we do not, have any affiliation with these companies. So like their claims are their claims. We don't have. We're just going to give you the information that's on their site available to everyone, but we're not recommending them or backing their claims in any way. We're just telling you what they are. Okay. So we stacked up 4 of the most popular altered alcohol alternatives, and we rated them in categories of taste, effectiveness, value for the price, and then we gave them a total score based on where they landed there. So when I say effectiveness, a lot of these boast, it's not just like, hey, we're just like replacing the alcohol with like a sparkling water. Instead, we're actually adding health benefits. They all have their own proprietary blends of certain roots and herbs and different ingredients that they claim have calming effects similar to a buzz of alcohol, which people, are going for when they reach for a drink. Oftentimes, it's for a relaxation sort of feeling. And these drinks all claim that they provide a similar experience, except without the alcohol.
Yeah, so this isn't your O'Doul's or your mocktail
No.
or anything like that. That would just be like another drink which would serve a similar effect to having the something to do with your hands situation. Like that would fill that void if you're like out at an event or you're looking for something to just kind of like sip on while you're doing. These actually claim to have some effects that are going to um, either benefit you or help you kind of like calm down or unwind.
So Would you like to start with our first product, which we reviewed, which was You Relax? This is from the Calming Company, and they come in little sticks, individual sticks. Sort of remind me of like what are those little hydration packs? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Like,
single serving.
I don't
Thanks,
know.
Kels. Thanks, Kels.
Wait, it's
Yeah.
gonna come to me in a second.
No, it's okay. Um, they are single serve packets. You mix with water or whatever, sparkling water, whatever it is you want. And they are flavored. They give you different options for flavors. You got it?
Liquid IV.
Liquid IV. Okay.
Just let the wheels roll.
Okay. I'd let them roll. And you, I'm here for it.
But then I get
I
stuck. I can't move past it. I'm like, until you find it in the corners of your brain.
Okay, so we are starting with You Relax. Where did you rate this on taste?
I gave it a 4 on taste. I initially gave it a 2 and then I changed it to a 4. So I will tell you, you have to let the packet settle and you have to mix it. Because if you don't, it's very strong immediately. That's what I was feeling. I mixed all of these with water, um, just as a precursor. The ones that came in like a drop or a mix, I did them all with water. Um, and the as soon as I opened up the packet, I'm just gonna tell you my experience. As soon as I opened up the packet, I was very off put by the smell of it. And I'm not saying it like smells bad. It just smelled like it was pineapple. It had a really strong smell to it. And I was kind of immediately put off by that. And then I put it in my water and my initial like couple sips were like, whoa, this is not good. But as soon as I let it sit a little bit and gave it like a little bit more water and mixed it up, it was much better. So it gave it a bump in the taste for me. I also want to just insert out there that I really just drink water, coffee, and alcohol. I don't drink any juices or things like that. I don't typically like anything sugary. So all of the lighter ones, I personally ranked higher because they had less of a strong or like a sugary taste for me, which is why this is my lowest rank for taste.
Okay, so that's a good precursor because obviously we're all coming into this with our own taste buds. Taste is very subjective.
Yeah.
I hated You Relax.
Okay.
It was disgusting. I hated it. It was so nasty. I barely could get through it. Like you said, like the more I drank, I was like, okay, like I guess I'm getting used to this, but I absolutely hated the taste. I am a person who is extremely sensitive to the taste of stevia. I can smell
That's
it
what
from
it
a mile
was.
away.
Yeah, okay. I
Um,
told Rachel, like, I barely made it through this one. So, I'm glad
it
you said that.
It's just, this is just a personal preference. This isn't like talking about the health thing. Like I'm not slamming stevia for it's just for me, the way it tastes, I can taste it in almost anything. You can never cover it up to a point I can't taste it. And I really strongly dislike the taste. I do not like any kind of stevia flavoring. It stands out. It's disgusting. So, You Relax, I gave a 2 on taste. I hated it. And basically that kind of moving on in the like if I don't
It was
like it, who
tough to move
cares if
in.
it's effective, right?
Yeah, it was
So what
tough
did
to
you
move
rank it in effectiveness?
I thought it actually had more the effectiveness was higher than some of the other ones for me. So I gave it a 5 on effectiveness. Um, There was, as far as the packet goes, when I opened it, in comparison to other things like Liquid IV, which is what I expected the kind of like amount to be in the packet, there was a lot in there.
Mhm.
There
Mhm.
was a lot of powder in a single packet use, and I think that's probably why the taste was so strong, and maybe it was that it was fairly effective. Yeah, I gave it a 5 on effectiveness.
Okay. Yeah, I also gave it a good score on effectiveness. I gave it a 7, but again, doesn't really matter because I couldn't stand the taste, but it did provide like a nice, I felt like a nice, calming,
Mhm.
relaxing kind of vibe. The thing I didn't like about the effectiveness is, did this happen to you? Did it make your mouth tingle?
Oh, I did feel a little something, but I wasn't sure what was going on
It
there.
said it on
Oh, it did?
yeah,
Okay.
it said it on the that, like, a lot of people experience, like, a tingling or a numb mouth,
Mm,
and that's it working. I don't like that. I don't not there's no. It was, like, similar to, like, a pop rock for me, like,
yeah.
it made, like, a weird, sensation in my mouth that I didn't like. So, but I did feel that the effectiveness. They say, all of their tonics are uniquely formulated with natural plant-based ingredients and are proven to work in double-blind, placebo-controlled trials. Um, hey, I mean, it was relaxing. I
It honestly
just
was, yeah.
I just wasn't, I wasn't a fan of the taste or really the ingredients. What about price for you? This was $60 for 15 sticks. So that landed us, let's see, let's do some math. That's about $4 a serving, is that right?
Oh, I don't
Yeah, I
know.
think that's
You
about
got a
$4 a
calculator?
serving. Yeah. Um, by far the most expensive.
It's the most expensive, but it also is the most effective, but if you break that down for, like, what that would cost for maybe a drink, that's
That's true. It
it's
stands
fairly
up.
comparable
Mhm.
in that area. So if you wanted to replace it with some of your drinks, you could say like I would spend, $60 to get 15 um, cans of whatever, I don't
Right.
know,
Right.
or a bottle of whatever, and that would give me 15 drinks. Okay.
Um, Before moving on past you relax, I would say that um, we did obviously look heavily into the ingredient list. It matters what you're drinking, what's going into your body. That's the whole point of this,
Mm.
with the alcohol alternatives. And one thing that I was very surprised and shocked to learn, because all of these are packaged for health conscious people, right? So, like, they are full with natural ingredients, no added sugars, no artificial sugars. No artificial sugars. However, you relax has both allulose and steviol glycosides. Um, Here's what I learned when I researched this.
Yeah.
The FDA does not actually, um, they have no protocol for what is an artificial sweetener. Basically, they do not patrol if you put on your packaging no artificial sweeteners, because artificial sweeteners are, it's so crazy right now because some of them are from plant-based original, like, for example, stevia is a leaf, right?
Mhm.
And the way it's extracted is sometimes using chemical compounds like alcohol. But is that still natural if you use some kind of a chemical compound to extract a natural ingredient? Like, it's like a weird thing. So the FDA has basically just stepped off and been like, we don't know. We're not sure.
Mhm.
So just be cognizant of the fact that if it says no artificial sweeteners, I thought that meant right off the bat, like, no stevia. It
Mhm.
does not mean that at all. You would have to flip to the back. And again, there's no like slamming stevia here. If that's what you like, that's what you like. But personally, I thought that no artificial sweeteners meant that it was all natural, as far as like if it was sugar, it was going to be sugar.
Yeah.
Not the case.
And one of the things that really gets me about some of those alternatives is like stevia glycosides are around 150 to 300 times sweeter than sugar. So it in the game of alternative sugars, we could do a whole episode on that.
That's true.
And I think we have done a portion of an episode in the past, but the marketing behind no artificial sweeteners or zero sugar or which type of sugar we're going to demonize in whatever place that we're in is all it honestly is just all bullshit. Because there's so much emphasis put in
Smoke and mirrors.
it's smoke and mirrors. There's so much emphasis put on like, oh, sugar is really terrible for you, blah, blah, blah. And then you replace it with something that is equally as harmful to your body, thinking you're making a health conscious choice, or something that is 150 to 300 times sweeter than sugar, for example.
But has no calories.
Yes.
Right.
And that
We're
she's air
trading.
bunnying the
Yeah.
calorie situation. And xanthium gum is just something that I wanted to put out there because it's a very popular food alternative. It's used in a ton of foods. For me, I know it's always used in some of the spicier sauces that I like to get, and I'm always looking for it. But I want to say one thing about xanthium gum because I have some experience with this. It causes some swelling and bloating for a lot of people. So if you're someone who has typical inflammation or you struggle with inflammation, you need to be careful with xanthium gum, especially that's added into some of the things that you're using on a daily basis, because you might not even realize that you're continuing to contribute to an inflammatory diet essentially, and you already struggle with inflammation. This is just something I just wanted to call out for you. Quick interruption, guys, because our new collection is out of this world.
No, you just didn't.
Yeah, I did it.
You didn't do it. I thought we agreed we were not going to be punny today.
I'm just punny every day.
Oh, guys, this collection is so cute. We've got infinity, sun and moons, and well, I guess.
Rise and shine. Rachel's calling them by their original name. So
Because I found this pattern and I freaking love it. And then the universe pattern. We have like the cutest space pants because your ass is out of this world.
oh, you did it too.
Oh my
Check them
God.
out. ConstantlyVariedGear.com.
Yeah, I with all of these, right? If we're thinking of this might be like sort of a daily thing. Anytime, even 4 times a week, anytime you're looking at something that is going to become habitual, you need to make sure that you're comfortable with whatever the ingredients are that is going to be going in, because that's going to be something that is consistently in your body. And so, yeah, again, it's just about your personal preferences and like and noticing what makes you like. A lot of people, sometimes their reactions to artificial sweeteners are digestive issues. And it just knowing this and paying attention and knowing when you put something new in your diet and thinking about like, hey, I'm having, this bloating that I've not previously had. Like, what have I changed? Just noticing those things is just, I think, a really important thing.
And just don't let that scare you, because if you're thinking about this as an alternative for alcohol, like we're comparing the two of like
That's
an
true.
artificial sweetener and like some poison that you're putting in your body. like let's just let's not get it twisted when we're pulling apart some of these things, because if you're thinking about this as an alternative to some of the alcohol you're already consuming, like okay, just put that in context.
Another one that they said in the algorithms was, is alcohol the new smoking? And I was like, oh man. I don't know. Just gave me pause.
Yeah.
Okay. Our next one is apothecary. No, apothecary. Apothecary.
Yeah.
It's just a mild case of dyslexia there. Apothecary. No, I did it wrong again. Do you want to say
Once you go there.
No, I know because I said it in my head a lot. It's one of those.
Mm-hmm.
I
can't say it now because you said it out loud.
Okay. See what I said? Apothecary. Apothecary.
Yeah.
think like tinctures, right?
Mm.
Great website, great branding, love their stuff. We tried their Take the Edge Off product. It is a tincture, meaning like it comes in a little dropper. It's so cute. And it's kind of like an additive that you can either squirt on your tongue, or you can put it in a drink and mix it up with, whatever you want. They claim to harness the intelligence of nature and create clean, effective herbal remedies that target the root cause of health imbalances, easing stress, supporting your gut, strengthening your immunity, and sharpening your mental focus.
Wow, so you can take this during the day.
You can, and they have a ton of different products. Their line is very extensive. We chose one that might serve like a stress reliever, alternate to alcohol kind of thing. But they have ones for your skin, ones for your gut health. Like they have pretty much any health and wellness problem that you might have. They have a tincture that they claim will help you. So let's see how we did on Apothecary. Where did you rank it taste wise?
I gave it a 7 on taste because I couldn't really taste it at all. It was super mild. I put it with water, and I it just tasted like a glass of water. I don't know if that for everyone else, like I said, with the where you relax was very strong. This was super mild. I couldn't taste it in water at all. It dissolved, like it wasn't even there. I bet if you put it in a sparkling water, you wouldn't be able to taste it at all as well. So I gave it a 7 because I like water.
I gave it a 9.
Okay,
I
we're right. We don't know each
loved
other's rankings, by the way, guys.
We don't know. We didn't talk to each other before this. This is blind because we're sisters. So we
Yeah.
think like you might influence my thing. So we
Mhm.
kept them secret. I gave it a 9. I absolutely loved the fact that you couldn't taste it. I like to like make my own thing. Like I have like a sparkling water that I really like right now. Put it in there, and then it just tastes like some people are looking for a taste, and so that this might not be for you, but I also tried it on my tongue,
I
just
was gonna
straight
ask if you
up.
did, yeah.
I did. And I didn't hate it. I mean, like, what I say, like, oh, this tastes awesome? No, but like it wasn't like taking medicine either. It was definitely like pleasant enough. So I gave it a 9, loved the taste. Where did you put it on effectiveness?
I gave it a 4 on effectiveness because I didn't really feel I didn't really feel anything from it. I didn't feel like any calmer. I didn't feel I don't know. I didn't really feel much from it. So I gave it a 4. I mean, I would say maybe slightly calmer, but again, compared to you relax where you were like, oh, I'm definitely feeling something here. I was just kind of like, I don't know.
Okay. That's fair. I gave it a 6. I also felt like it was pretty slight, but again, it had me on the I think that it's I mean, we're not going to say that marketing doesn't have a play here. Like I really enjoyed like the experience, the packaging, like the messaging. So perhaps I ranked it higher than it should have been, but I did feel the problem for me was that it was immediate and not lasting.
Okay.
So when I put it on my tongue, I felt immediately calm for about, I would say like 7 to 10 minutes. And then I didn't really, whereas the U Relax kind of like stretched out and I felt it for a little while. So that's why I ranked it a 6, but I did feel it. It just didn't really last.
Well, perhaps since you put it on your tongue and I put it in a drink, the effectiveness maybe was a little bit higher in a more concentrated sense of like putting it right directly on your tongue. So I'm assuming that that would be some influence there. I would say that I would be interested to see what some of the like this would be something that I would consider using repeatedly to see how it affects would
I will also say that most of these products claim to have a cumulative effect.
yeah.
So because we were testing all of them, it was kind of hard to like we're not gonna we didn't have a month under our belt of any one product. Um, but I will say that for sure that it is in the marketing that the longer you take this, the more you feel it and the more the benefits are there for you. So that's totally true. I'm glad you mentioned that. $39 for the 1 month supply of the Take the Edge Off. Not too bad. That comes out
That's
to
a
like
pretty
a
good value.
$1.30 per serving,
Mhm.
if my math's correct on that. So great score on value for the price. I ranked that at a 9 as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great honestly, like, that's a great value for that price.
As far as the ingredients, mulberry, skullcap, passion flower, they have their claims that this is a unique blend to soothe your nervous system. Um, as far as like other ingredients that are not there for health benefits, very, very clean.
Nice.
I loved this about it. Lemon peel, white nectarine, distilled water. There was no artificial sweeteners in
Well, that I mean,
here.
that's why we ranked it higher for taste, I think, too.
It has vegetable glycerin, because it's like a syrup that's like to hold the consistency. But other than that, it was squeaky clean on ingredients. So I loved that about it, and it pushed it way higher for me once I saw um, how how nice it was.
Well, that can be super individualized though, right? So if like you're
Oh
someone who's
yeah,
looking for something to just kind of like add to your own mix, like say you're making a mocktail or something that you like to make your own flavors, you can add this to it. I would say flawlessly because I mean I'm tasting it in water and I'm not tasting it at all.
yeah,
So if you want to just put it in even your own jewels or whatever, like it would be one of those that I think would be a really flawless transition.
yeah. Loved it. All right, let's move on to Moment.
Moment.
Moment, I think, is probably one of the most popular of all of the alcohol alternatives. They claim that you are drinking your meditation. They have a proprietary blend of L-theanine and ashwagandha, and they claim that their adaptogens increase your brainwaves and give you a zen-like feel, just the same way that meditation does. So, how was Moment for you? Where did you rank it on taste?
Moment had some really so I want to say something about Moment that I felt like the other two were lacking is that it was extremely convenient because it's in a can, so you kind of can just grab and go, where like the you relax is a packet, so you have to have another drink to be able to add to it, and the other one is the
You
drops where
won't
like
even say it.
what.
Apothecary.
Oh, apothecary, the other one.
So scared to say it right.
I when I said fish fork, I won't do it. But Moment was a really easy, like, grab and go situation, so you could definitely, just kind of, like, pull it out like a beer and, not really have to put much thought into it. So as far as an alcohol alternative, I felt like this was the closest one from the get-go to being able to replace a seltzer or a beer because it's already you get to crack it open, you know what I mean? Like
Love.
there's certain
Yeah.
habits that like really feed people's and I'm an air bunny addiction because addiction's not always like it just feeds like the what you're looking for to get out of that experience. And I felt like Moment really served those purposes. I gave it an 8 on taste. Again, that climbed because my initial one was a little bit lower. But they have several different what am I look flavors
Mhm.
that you can. So I tried two different ones because I had my friend try one so I could open it and then taste them both and not feel like I was wasting it. So depending on the flavor, which I really liked for this one, is that you can change up which flavor you're going for. So I did give it an 8 and it wasn't very strong. The flavor was like somewhere in the middle of Apothecary and You Relax, where it definitely had some flavor to it, but it was not quite as strong as You Relax.
I loved it. I gave it a 10. I loved the
Woo!
flavor. I same as you. I loved the experience of the
Yeah.
can, the everything, like the cracking open. Like I thought that it was such like a beautiful packaging. You got the variety pack so you could pick like, this flavor this night, this flavor this night. I gave it a 10. I loved, loved, loved the flavor. And then when I looked over the ingredients, I could definitely see why I loved the flavor. It was bubbly, so the main ingredient is sparkling water. I love a bubbly situation when I'm like drinking something. That does it for me. And then the second ingredient was organic apple cider vinegar. And I'm a person who, like, I have for years taken apple cider vinegar as an immunity booster and just like a general, like, health. I enjoy the benefits that I see with apple cider vinegar. So when I saw it in there, I was like, oh, yeah, totally. It does have an artificial sugar, but for me, it was really slight. It
Yeah, it was
didn't
me too.
bother me.
Mhm.
It's monk fruit, so I don't know. I'm not familiar with like I haven't blind taste tested these, but like it was the last ingredient. Also, so whereas like on some of the others, the artificial sweetener went really high
Mm.
on in order of ingredients. So there was a lot of it. Whereas this was just like really tame. I loved it.
Yeah, I usually like monk fruit is definitely a little bit more subtle than some of the other artificial sweeteners in general. And same thing, like I did not feel like it was too sweet, and I'm definitely someone who is sensitive to a sweet drink. So I feel like you could drink a couple of these and not feel like you
Yeah,
know.
that aftertaste. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Where did you feel like, for effectiveness?
I gave it a 3 on effectiveness.
Ooh.
I feel like, again, maybe if you if you used it more often, I feel like it could be more effective. I just didn't really feel any really I felt a little bit calmer, but it was not significant for me at all.
Yeah, I also yeah, mine was a 5. It was pretty mellow, if anything, and again, I'm willing to accept the fact that, it could be cumulative, but definitely didn't hit for me like some of the others. But at $70 for a 24 pack,
Mm,
we do have a decent price per serving. That's like $2.91. So somewhere in the middle here, as far as the ones we ranked. And again, like if this is an alternate to alcohol,
yeah.
that's a good bargain.
I feel like this one for me, if you're looking for an alternative to alcohol, I feel like this one is the top choice, honestly,
Me too.
because you're not getting a buzz from it. You might get feel a little bit calmer, but it is a really good replacement for some of those other habits that you're using for alcohol. So like if you want a can that you want to just be able to go grab, if you want a little bubbly feeling to it, crack open the can, you want to like casually drink or socially drink with it, I think that it serves that purpose really well.
Same. We didn't even go over this. All
We
right, our
didn't.
last one is we sampled Beam. We did the Dream Beam. This over the past 10 years is a company that has absolutely exploded. I believe they're out of Boston.
Yeah.
And they are a very heavy CrossFit brand. They claim the highest quality functional wellness products for better sleep, calmness, energy, and recovery. I know that Matt Frazier has been a major face for them. Danica Patrick has been a face for them. They have a pretty big celebrity following. Um, their products are pretty vast. I think they started in the sleep category and then now they've expanded a little bit and they have some more performance things, and but they claim their ingredients are top of the tap.
Top of the tap.
So in Boston, their tap of the
Mhm.
tap. What did you think? But the one we took was primarily for sleep.
Yes. So I felt like
So,
this was in a different category because if I wouldn't use this in a social setting because I'm going to skip to effectiveness. It was extremely effective. I went to sleep right after, and honestly, I was editing a video and I had planned on finishing it and I was like, why am I so sleepy? And I was like, I gotta go. I'm down for the count. We also did it was like a hot chocolate
mhm.
flavor. And for taste, it was delicious. I gave it a 9 for taste.
Yes, you did.
I did because I this is something that here's how I would use this. You eat dinner, and I usually end with some type of a sweet or chocolate at the end of my night anyway. And instead of going to like my normal like Laura bar situation, I used Beam instead and did a hot chocolate. And I was like, wow, this is definitely a good chocolate fix because it was a full hot chocolate. It was delicious. And so it gave me the chocolate fix, and it was like a hot, fun, like, nightcap, I guess.
Definitely a great nightcap. I would agree with that, especially for people who like to end on a like a sweet note.
Mm,
And yeah, I would say like a wind down. But that's why I wanted to test it because a lot of people are using that alcohol as like a sort of a wind down nightly routine. So yeah, this is not for a social setting for sure.
no.
But as that like chocolate nightcap, it worked great. I didn't love the taste, if I'm being honest. I ranked it a 7. I didn't hate it, but I could taste. I'm like a freaking a hound for it. I swear to God, like you
Mm.
could bring me in
Did you
and be
mix it with
like,
water or milk?
I mixed it with water.
Okay.
Did you mix it with milk?
I know you're a milk drinker. So,
No.
no, I mixed it with water.
Okay. Um, I'm just saying I'm wicked sensitive to it, so I could taste it a mile away, tasted the whatever they're using for the artificial sweetener, and that brought it down for me, but the chocolate was they do use an organic cocoa powder. They have dairy-free options as well because I believe oh, no, it's coconut milk.
Mm,
Okay.
mhm.
Yeah, so it's coconut milk. So this was a dairy-free option. Um, and but yeah, it was super slight, but it was an aftertaste. So that's why I didn't love it. Effectiveness, I ranked it an 8. I thought it was awesome. I saw you ranked it a 10.
I said 10 for sleep. I w
10.
I went to bed so fast. Like, usually I have a hard time finding things that actually wind me down. Like,
Yeah.
my body just fights certain things, and I think, like, different people are gonna react very differently. Some of you guys might be like, "Oh my god, moment made me, brought me from a 7 to a 2."
Yeah.
Like, definitely this affects different people in different ways, but for me, I have a hard time finding really effective things that wind me down, and this definitely, um I definitely went right to sleep.
So yeah, I think the reason why it didn't get like a 10 out of 10 is because although it did wind me down and I was immediately sleepy, it had melatonin, which for me doesn't last through the night. So, like, I
Mhm.
get immediately sleepy, but then I kind of am like a wake up at 1 a.m.er. And that happened. That same thing happened on Beam. So, great for winding down and getting to sleep. For me, wasn't great at staying asleep. But again, I am willing to accept the fact that there are cumulative effects to their claims. And perhaps if I were to put it in more consistently, also, I know a lot of people are sensitive to melatonin. It is not, I didn't know this, but it is not really recommended to people with anxiety who are having sleep trouble because of anxiety, because melatonin is, for a lot of people, makes it sort of an active dream state.
Yeah.
And so if you suffer from lack of sleep due to anxiety or difficulty falling asleep due to anxiety, usually melatonin is not suggested for you. So Beam does have non-melatonin blends for sleep
Oh,
because this is like common knowledge. But the one we took did have melatonin in it. And I, as an anxious person, probably should not have taken that one because for me, not so much on the staying asleep.
well, I think that's great for people to know though. For like, so for me, I'm very hyperactive. So like anything that can bring me initially down to get me to go to sleep is something that I'm like, "Oh, tell me more." Because like I lack an initial wind down, and then once I'm down, like I'm usually down pretty hard. So this was like a very effective form for me where like even it was in the hot chocolate experience too of like a hot drink, I
Mm.
think added to the winding down and comfort feeling that I got from this one, and definitely put me down.
A warm belly is
Yeah.
it can't be beat. I
Hmm.
love a good warm belly.
But the price
Uh
point.
Price point $64 for 30 servings. That was listed on sale on their site. I don't know if they're the kind of site where like it's always on sale or if it's like this was actually a sale that will go away. But we paid $64 for 30 servings, which comes out to about $2.16 per serving, right flat in the middle
Yep.
of our the what we tried. So you relax being the most expensive and
The worst
apoth-
tasting.
and apothecary being the least expensive. Beam fell right in the middle. And so I would definitely call it a good bang for your buck, especially if you like a little chocolate fix and are looking for a punch in the face to get you to go to sleep. Cause that's kind of it's kind of like a punch in the face. It's like you were doing stuff and then you were like, oh boy,
Yeah,
going down.
that's what happened to me, and I was thankful. Like timing it right is an important part of that, and I was like, "Oh, I'm thankful that I'm going to sleep right now because I should be going to sleep. I shouldn't be continuing to work and do the things." I was like, good for my research."
I think when we're looking at total score, obviously we had a little bit of variation here, but overall, Kelsey liked Beam the best. But again, as that, it's a little bit different than a social kind of situation. Whereas I had Moment as my highest with Apothecary as my second. And neither one of us went for the
Went for the
you
you relax.
relax.
It wasn't it.
It
You
was
know what I
just
could
so
see you
nasty.
making though? Like if you're someone who likes like a pina colada, like maybe you could blend some ice and add in this with that and make your kind of like a soft drink like that. I could see that being a spot for you relax. It just
Okay.
wasn't for me. It was too strong. But I think as far as like an alcohol alternative, we both had Moment as our top choice.
For sure. So if you are interested, you know what I was going to do? I was going to like shoot out some feelers to these companies, see if they want to give a coupon code for our listeners to get any good deals on this, on trying these. If you guys want to try them,
Then
I'll
they're gonna
reach
listen to
out.
the episode and be like, "You ripped us apart."
Well, listen, it's an
But we gave an
honest
honest review.
podcast. We gave an honest review and we that's what we do. And if you guys are interested in trying these, I will reach out to these companies. We'll put it in the show notes if there's any codes that you can use. And speaking of hot deals, we have a $10 gift card for anyone who signs up for TTSL Daily in the month of January. So, if you are looking to get your fitness going and you are a CVG lover, you can get into TTSL Daily and get a $10 gift card to spend on some awesome gear to make sure you're looking beautiful for your workouts and strong and freaking moving well and amazing.
Well, I like that idea because obviously. But, when you start a new workout routine, one of the things that I feel like is imperative to sticking with it is, like, getting a new outfit to start,
That's so
and it's
true.
just like, "All right, well, here's a gift to you to get your new outfit to start so you can feel like a rock star as you start your new journey." Or if you're just maybe it's not new to you. Maybe you're just like, I just love TTSL Daily. Here's a gift card.
Yeah, we're killing it for January. We have hot deals, hot
Hot deal.
deals, hot deals. And if you are going dry or if you are just looking to cut back a little
Oh
bit,
God.
well, oh, maybe not
Calm
maybe not going
down.
dry. God. Still moisturize. You want to still moisturize. I mean, not like going dry. If you're cutting back on alcohol for January, check out our top 4 picks and let us know what you thought of
Yeah,
them.
guys, let us know what you think. If you get any of these and your scores are different than ours, tell us why. I would love to hear them.
We love you guys. Have a great week.